before we can look at the indices of double nested arrays, we first of all have to create an array. And we will create an array called fruit basket, and we will set it to these rectangular brackets, because when JavaScript sees these rectangular brackets, it knows that fruit basket is an array. And of course arrays need content, so let's create one string element, this the first element inside of our array, which is called watermelon, and we will also have a second element, also a string called banana. Now every element inside of our array has an index number connected to it. So in our case we see that watermelon is set to index number 0 and banana is set to index number 1. And JavaScript arrays always start counting at index number 0. So now let's have a console.log for our fruit basket. And let's go to our web page and refresh, and here you can see we get this whole array as a return value, watermelon and banana. And now what we can do is we can add rectangular brackets to it and select an index number. So let's say we select index number 0, which is watermelon. Here you can see as a return value we get watermelon. If we have index number 1 and we refresh this whole thing, here's a return value you can see we get banana. Now we will transform this simple array into a nested array. We will do this by just adding another value, and the value that we add are these two rectangular brackets. So this is an array which is inside this array. So this is called a nested array. And of course we need some kind of content for our array. So we have one string called broccoli, and let's say we have one string of lemon. And now let us try to have console.log for index number 2, and let's see what happens. You can see now we get as a return value we get the array of broccoli and lemon. So this whole thing is index number 2, and we can expand our comment so that we better can understand it. We can see it better here. From this bracket to this bracket, this is index number 2, so broccoli and lemon, just like we saw here. And we can also see that the elements inside the nested array can now be accessed if we have two numbers. So here you can see the 2 is because this whole thing is index number 2, and the second number once again starts counting at 0. Just like we start counting at 0 with watermelon, here we start counting at 0 with the broccoli. Let's try it out. So let's say we have console.log fruit basket 2 and 0, and here as a return value we get broccoli, and let's say we have 2 and 1, and we refresh our web page. Here you can see as a return value we get lemon. Now to make it more understandable, we will also add a new element called kiwi to it, and now kiwi is at index number 3. And let's check if this is actually true. Here index number 3, refresh. Yes, you can see here now we have watermelon at 0, banana at 1, kiwi at 3, and index number 2 is the nested array. Now what we will do is we will turn this nested array into a double nested array. So we have here our array inside an array, and we will put a new value into it, and this value is once again these rectangular brackets. Just like we created the nested array, we are now creating the double nested array. We will also put some kind of content into it, so we have a string value called cucumber, and let's also have a carrot, and we will also add a value after our double nested array. So it's not in the nested array anymore, and let's call it tomato, and let's modify our comment a bit so that we can actually understand it. And now here you can see it looks a bit complicated, but it's not that complicated. So we got watermelon is still at index number 0, banana is still at index number 1, kiwi here at the end, which is still at index number 3, and this whole thing from broccoli to tomato is index number 2. Let's also make a console.log. You can see console.log basket index number 2 is broccoli, lemon, the array of 2, which is the cucumber and the carrot, and the tomato. Now we can of course specify this whole thing a bit more. Let's say we have 2 and 1, which is the lemon. Let's say we have 2 and 2, and we refresh. You can see as return value we get the double nested array of cucumber and carrot. And if we specify this one more time. Let's say we want to have a carrot, so we have 2, 2, 1, and we can refresh. Here's a return value, you can see we get carrot.